and welcome to the Sisterhood and Faith podcast. This is Jenni O'Brien, your host, and today's episode you will not want to miss. We are going to be welcoming my daughter, Elle O'Brien. So let's just give a warm welcome to Ellie. Welcome, Ellie. Well, welcome, Ellie. I'm just so excited that you are here today. My daughter, we have her on the episode. I'm just so excited. We don't know exactly what we're going to talk about today. She got home from work just a few minutes ago, and I said, Ellie, you want to do the podcast? She was like, yes, I'll do it. I'll do it. Of course.
I'm so excited.
You are so excited?
Yes.
Okay, good. So what is it you are excited about? Are you excited to tell people about your faith? Are you excited about...
Yes, always. I'm always excited to talk about Jesus.
You are?
Yes.
Oh, good. As a mom, I want my kids to be excited about talking about Jesus and just having a strong faith. And I'm just so proud of you for literally following your heart and following your journey to build your relationship with God even stronger than I ever imagined, because at your age, I wasn't half of close to knowing Jesus, knowing my faith like you are. So I'm just so proud of you. And why do you think it is at such a young age that you do have such a strong faith foundation?
I think because of lots of things. And I think if you would have lined me, Connor, and Riley up just a few years ago, I probably would have been the last person that you would
Yes.
have guessed, because I was so, at one point, skeptical, not of the belief in God. I've always known that God is real and there is a God, but I always had a lot of pushback with religion, and I was always skeptical of that, and I always questioned that, and I still do, because I strongly believe if what you believe can't be questioned, then you shouldn't believe in it. And so
That's good,
that's
Ellie.
a big reason why I'm so strong in my faith, is because I questioned it so hard, and I asked the hard questions, and I'm still asking the hard questions, and the answers always point back to God. So whatever religion it is, it's not, to me, it's not a religion for me. It's just God, Jesus, the Bible. That's what I
Are building and trying to learn more about.
well, that's my foundation. I don't really like to put myself under an umbrella of a religion, but yeah, that's how I became so strong in my faith, is just questioning and becoming skeptical and just trying to educate myself more.
Yeah, great, Ellie. And so you grew up obviously in a household that had religion, or at least made you go to Catholic school, we prayed together, we had dinner together every night. Do you think that makes a big difference in the upbringing of someone for their faith? Or what do you think about that?
I think
What are you going to do with, say, your kids? Or what do you think that...
I
Yeah.
think it's so important to raise a child with the belief in God, because if you don't, then they have no purpose. They're just on a floating rock that came here from a big bang. But if you raise a child with a belief in God, a foundation of God, you're teaching them that they were put on this earth for a purpose, that no matter what happens, this person, this man, this all great being loves them through everything. He has their back through everything. And nothing matters in this life except love. And there's heaven. And yeah, raising a child in the faith, if you do it right, because I feel like there's such a fine line that you have to teeter, because you also need to allow them to think for themselves and not force them into anything, because church hurt is a real thing.
What are you calling it?
Church hurt. Like,
church hurt. Church hurt.
Like when you grow up in the churches, whatever church it may be, Catholic, Christian, Baptist, LDS, whatever it is, it's there's always bad eggs and that can turn you off to God, but that's not from God. God is loving, and I think you have to sometimes be very cognizant of that, especially when you're raising children. It's a fine line.
Yeah. For us, when we were growing up with you guys, we weren't as good going to church all the time. But God was always the center, at least in my life for you guys, where I'm just now that you are 22 years old, and I find that you are making God a center part of your life. You're going to Bible study now. You read your Bible. Why do you think that got you even closer to God?
So, yeah, so I grew up Catholic. I went to Catholic school, and I had some experiences that really turned me off to my faith. And I just had a lot of questions, and no one seemed to be able to answer me. And it all, as a 15-year-old, 14-year-old, all my hormones and craziness in life, it just felt like judgment. It just felt like this group of people, this faith, it's just turned me off to God completely. Not that I didn't believe in God, but I just didn't think about him. I didn't live my life thinking about him. I would pray before dinner, and that's about it.
Yeah.
And then, freshman year of college-ish, about 4 years ago, I met a boy who I ended up dating for 4 years, and his faith was so solid. He was the first person that I met where he walked the walk and talked the talk. He knew what he was saying. He was so strong in his faith, and he really opened my eyes because he could answer all these questions that I had, because he read the Bible and he asked the hard questions. He came from a loving place, and he really sparked curiosity in me,
Yes.
where I went home because I didn't want to just believe him, always answering these questions, but I need to go fact check. So he bought me my first Bible, New Living Translation, where it's easier to read.
Well, you
It's
had a
not,
Bible. We gave you a
yes,
Bible. Yeah.
King James, which if you've ever read the King James, it's very difficult
It's more
to
difficult.
understand.
Yeah.
So less motivating for me to read.
Yes.
So if you have a hard time reading your Bible and you have a Catholic Bible,
Yes.
that's great. Keep it, but supplement
Yes.
with a easier translation that will be more digestible, because it makes a world of a difference.
It does make a world different. That changed my life once I did that I was able to understand it so
Yeah.
much better. And I actually have two Bibles. I have my Catholic Bible and then my other Bible. I think that maybe you even recommend. I don't know, but I love it. I refer to it all the time and I can understand it. So yes, that I love that. Okay, so you got one of those, and one of those Bible, and you just started reading it more.
And he really encouraged me to grow in my faith. And I would go visit his family, and his family is all very much the same way. They're very knowledgeable on the Bible, and they're very deep in their faith. I was always very encouraged by him. Yeah, he was a big reason why I grew in my faith, and I'm so thankful.
Yes. And so with that, I just think that is so great that you were gravitated towards a Christian man, a man that had faith. So what do you think, like, with you, when you do want to find your spouse, or you get married one day, what are the qualities that you look for in a husband? A faith, let's get all the things you really want.
Well, first and foremost, he has to be a believer, strong in his faith. He has to be a man of God. He has to be able to wash me in the Word, so that he needs to be reading his Bible and be able to pray over me and pray for me. Meaning, like, now that I'm so deep in my faith, it's a big requirement of mine in my household that I'm raising my children. I want my husband to be the head of the household in faith. Because I think having a man being the foundation of the faith in a household, and setting an example by reading his Bible, washing the family in word, meaning scripture,
Yes.
prayer. If it's coming from the man and then also being supported by the mom, the wife, that is the strongest foundation you can have as a family. And being a man of God it just is a bubble of everything else. To be a strong believer in God means that you have humility, you have self-discipline, you have the same moral standard as I do, and God's going to be God's at the center of our relationship, and everything else follows. I don't know. It's just
that's important to you.
just the most important to me.
And I think that for
I
me,
have other requirements too, but that's the biggest one.
that's the biggest one. Well, as a mom, I know for me, Dad and I being married for 30, almost 30 years, that you have to have a faith. You just having a solid relationship with the Lord makes it so much easier to get through all the ups and downs. I think if both of you are on the same page, it's going to be a lot easier for you. So I'm glad you're looking for a God-driven man. But also, Ellie, do you think that's going to be challenging to find? What do you think about the men in your generation? I mean, you're in your early 20s, and you've always told me you don't want to get married too late. You don't want to be an older mom. Do you think there's a lot of men out there for you in that aspect? How do you go about looking for men?
Well, I don't
That are
need
God-
lots of men. I
Yeah.
only need one man.
You only need one.
So
Yeah.
there's got to be one out there.
Yes.
God will lead me to him. So
Yes.
I'm not worried about it.
Yes. Good, good. Okay. So also I want to talk about your journey as 19-year-old being a teacher. That is just unbelievable. So Ellie was one of those COVID babies, graduating high school during COVID, had to start college during COVID. What a nightmare that was for your generation in that whole process. So you were in college, you had a great opportunity to do something that you would have never imagined, you never talked about ever doing anything like this. So tell us about that journey of becoming a teacher at 19 years old with full benefits, full salary, the whole nine yards. I mean, what 19-year-old gets that opportunities? Why did you decide to do that? I always wonder how did you decided to do that? What do you think? What was the deal with that?
I had started college just online because it was COVID at a local college. I had a text from her, my mom, saying, "Would you want to come in tomorrow for an interview? We need an English teacher, a middle school English teacher at the school."
Yes.
And I said, "Yep."
Well, yeah,
No questions asked.
well, I too, when I remember when I sent that text, I'm like, when they said, would your daughter be interested in teaching? I'm like, I don't know. I mean, Ellie was the last one. You were the last one I thought would want to be a teacher. For some reason, I thought, I didn't know. I didn't think you'd want to be a teacher. So sending.
Well, I was never the greatest student, if I'm going to be perfectly
Right,
honest.
right. So anyway, so you get the text that would you want to come in for an interview as a teacher? And you said, sure. And you did.
Yeah, so what happened was the middle school English teacher had to move suddenly halfway through the year. And this was, I mean, we're still kind of going through it, a teacher shortage a little bit,
Yeah, it was
right?
during COVID, right
Yeah.
after COVID.
So
teacher
they were
shortage.
frantically looking for someone. And my mom was like, "Oh, my daughter can write well." They were like, "Okay, bring her in." Yeah, I get that text. I go in the next day, and within 15 minutes, I'm signing a contract. And the next day, I'm in the classroom with the teacher who's leaving. And the next day after, I'm in the classroom alone. So it was really within a span of 3 days that I was a full-time student to full-time middle school teacher with 70, actually 66 middle school girls, 6th, 7th, and 8th. Obviously, no prior experience. No other teacher in the classroom. It was just me. So I really was thrown to the wolves.
You were. And you did an amazing job. Amazing job.
And it was the biggest blessing.
Really? Okay, I want to. So she was a teacher till just recently for 4 years, almost 4 years. So tell me, what was the best thing you got out of it, or what is the most? What do you think? What sticks out the most that you got out of teaching?
Well, I have so many things. For one, it was the biggest blessing because I have no sisters and I only taught little girls. These girls were like I cared for them so much. I had such great relationships with them. And I didn't enjoy school growing up, so that was my biggest thing was I want to make sure these girls know that I care for them, that if they don't understand or if they have a question or if they're struggling, that's normal. It's okay. And what's the most effective way to want them to come to school and enjoy school and learn? So I think I had a different connection with them because I was younger and because
You really cared. You were close to it, so you really cared. You knew how they felt.
I mean, at the time was still a student.
Yes.
So I get it.
So what a blessing for those young girls. Those girls are going to remember you for the rest
It
of
was
their
such
life.
a blessing. Also that everyone, because I have 66 girls, and then the year after that, more girls, more girls. I have not had a single student that I have not just adored to their bones. Like, I adore them. Every single one of their quirks, or they have different interests, they all have different personalities. I love every single one of them. It makes me think that every single one of these girls is going to grow up.
Mm-hmm.
And every single person that I interact with every single day was once a little kid that I could have taught. If I take the time to get to know the people that I interact with in my life, I'm going to love them as much as I love my students because I'm taking the time to learn about them and learn their quirks and learn what to love about them. Since I did that with my students, I was able to do that. If I apply that, just going about life, everybody is just a little 8-year-old kid.
Yeah.
There's always something to love about everybody. We just don't take the time as adults. I think we have to remember that. And also, when people mess up or when people have weird things about them or people struggle with certain things, that how they grew up really matters, and to always think about that too when you're interacting with people, because when you're working with children, it's not paying attention in class or misbehaving in class. It's always, oh, well, what went on last week, or what's going on at home, or what are they going through emotionally? And adults, we don't get that privilege, but we should because it still applies.
Yes, that's so big. It's huge.
Yeah.
Wow. So, Ellie, let's fast forward a little bit with your new job and your new everything that you've done. I just want you to tell the story of your God journey with how everything has happened within just the last few months. So, you are not teaching anymore. You're now from Arizona, living in California. So, tell us about that new journey from going from teaching to where you are right now.
Yes. I was living in Arizona and I was teaching for 4 years. And for the past year or so, I was getting ready for, like, I just felt antsy.
Yeah,
And I was ready for change, but I am not the type of person who's good with change. I get anxious super easily. It's just scary
Yeah.
for me. I think it's scary for everybody. But this past December, I had a big life change. It was like a flip switch to me where I was like, okay, let's do it. Saddle up. You gotta just can't just keep pushing off, pushing off. So a flip switched. I was at the gym one day. I called my brother Connor, I called you, I called my dad, and I was like, I think I want to get back to California. I don't know how. Maybe I could reach out to a family friend of ours, but I don't know because I don't want to seem this way or that way. Had all these doubts about it and was just very overwhelmed with the whole situation. And my dad, my brother were like, you need to just sleep on it. Don't make any rash decisions. But if you want to get out to California, like, yeah, we'll figure it out. So in the gym, I go into the sauna and I just start praying to God. And I'm just telling God, I'm so overwhelmed. I don't know what to do. I don't know my path in life. I want to change. I want to change the scenery. I want to get out of state of Arizona. I want a new job. I want a new skill set. Just show me the path and make it so clear where it's undeniable. That's what I was talking to Jesus about. Then I get home. I lay on the floor in front of you, and you're like, okay, Elle, like, let's talk, let's game plan. I open my phone, and I have a LinkedIn message from the man that I work for now saying, hey, Elle, saw that you were looking on my LinkedIn. I just want to let you know that we have an opening, and I would love to hire you to our team. Let me know
Oh
what
my
your
goodness.
game plan is, or let me know where you're at in life. I called him that night and I said, I want the job.
You knew God was saying, Elle, this
Yes,
is
it was
your.
such a prayer that was answered. It was so clear. I was praying in the sauna, God, make my path so clear that I don't question it. And he answered my prayer 15 minutes later.
That is so unbelievable.
So
here you are,
here I am
in California, new job, new everything.
Yeah.
New journey. So I'm just so proud of you for the leap of faith and doing what you're doing. It's just unbelievable. Okay, Ellie, we could talk forever about a zillion things, but the last thing that I want to ask you for today, we'll have lots of topics we want to talk about, especially now you have a new job and you're single for the first time in like 4 years, right? That's like crazy. That's a whole other thing. Um, so why don't I just want you to say one thing, like, what do you think for right now, 20-year-olds, any advice or anything you want to give to a young adult? What kind of advice would you give them about, jumping in, doing something that they're not like what you did? What kind of advice would you give
I mean,
a young person?
my advice is to just build a relationship with God. And if you don't have a relationship with God, just experiment with it and watch how your life will change. Because I get that question a lot actually from friends and family, like, because I'll go through these life changes, I'll start a new job, and I'm just not, nothing bothers me too much. It's because of God. Like, nothing in nothing that is worldly, my job doesn't matter. The money doesn't matter. I mean, yes, I'm going to make money. Yes, I'm going to get a job, but that's not what I hold value in. I hold value in relationships. I hold value in the people and how I treat them. I have a relationship with someone who always has my back, who always loves me. And I think especially, and it's so sad because, again, I'm not big on social media. I'm not a fan of it. I'm not on it too much. I think this day and age with girls, the more you're on social media, the more you'll see it. It's just girls altering their bodies and doing different things. And it stems from insecurity. But having a relationship with God is knowing that someone created me with so much purpose. Every single freckle on my body was perfectly placed, and he thinks I'm the most beautiful girl in the world. That's all that matters. That's the person who created me, and he created me to be perfect, so I am perfect. And whoever he has for me, and whoever he has for the girls that are watching this, if you put your faith in him, God is going to bring you a man or that someone who agrees with him, who says, I think that mold that you're so insecure about is so beautiful. I think it makes you you. And I think you're hairy big toe is cute and different things like that.
Yes.
So I think as a woman, it's so important just because insecurity plagues us all.
Oh, yes, all the time.
When you just give it to God, you're kind of renewed in like, wait, yeah, I am beautiful. All my features that make me me are so beautiful because I don't want to look like everybody else. And when I have my little girl, I want to look like her. I don't want to change my features because I want to look at my little girl and tell her that she's so beautiful and she's able to look at me and see her own features.
Yeah.
I think that's so important.
Oh, well, that was great advice, Ellie. I love that. So thank you so much, Ellie, for being on. And
For having me.
yay. And we'll have many other topics about different things, but thank you so much. And I love you. We will be on again soon. And we love you all. God bless you. We'll see you soon. Bye.